he added. She's not afraid to criticize liberals despite being a liberal. Indeed, she relishes her role as an equal opportunity critic. I'm interested in making fun of bad ideas, regardless of who has them, she said, adding that she has long welcomed the staunchest of conservatives onto her show, where she has been honestly curious and eager to hear what they have to say. "We just click," said Michael Steele, former chairperson of the Republican National Committee. "She listens. It's one of the reasons I love going on her show. And when it's all said and done, no one is angry. No one is bloody. I certainly don't agree with her politics at all, but she's a really nice person," said Tucker Carlson, who regularly invited Rachel onto his show, The Situation with Tucker Carlson, later changed to Tucker, between 2005 and 2008 to debate the topics of the day. It's very hard to find people who can argue well, who can argue from principle. She's a person of principle. She is also hugely patriotic and has been known to tear up whenever she hears the Star-Spangled Banner play. "I am a person who feels personally aggrieved by people who undermine our constitutional republic," she said. "I think the Fourth Amendment is personally wired into my DNA." Despite her obvious excitement when talking about certain stories on camera, Rachel maintains that she's oddly calm, especially when working on a story that has everyone else up in arms. "I don't have an emotional reaction to the news," she said. "It's like if you're a surgeon who's removing brain tumors. While you're doing the surgery, do you feel sad for the person having gotten the tumor? No, you're working on taking care of the tumor and fixing it." Underscoring everything is the clear fact that she respects the intelligence of her audience, which can be a hard thing to find on any network or cable show out there today. "If you assume that your audience is as interested in what you are talking about as you are, you're going to connect with your audience in a much better way," she said. Despite these contradictions, or maybe because of them, millions love her and tune in regularly for her honesty and willingness to say what few other public figures will say, and for not hiding her glee whenever crooked, incompetent, or just plain mean people, politicians and otherwise, get caught. But even in these moments, she never belittles the scoundrels. "Even though I can be harsh in my criticism, and I can be strong in my beliefs, I try not to be mean," she said. "And I don't have a very high tolerance for other people who are cruel or personally insulting in a way that I think is meant to humiliate people. You'd have to be a really miserable specimen of a human being to not like her," said Keith Olbermann, who encouraged MSNBC to give Rachel her own show. "I have always felt like my job is to chart the waters," she said, "and we are at sea." At the same time, she has never tried to conceal her ambition. After all, she dreamed of having her own TV show for many years before it actually happened. "You reach people in television in a way that allows you to make more of an impact," she said. "If that's the game you've decided to play, you might as well try to win." Chapter 1. Who is that kid and where did she come from? Rachel Ann Maddow was born on April Fool's Day, 1973, and almost from the very beginning she was showing signs of the wonky but entertaining public persona she'd grow into several decades in the future. Rachel arrived with a real quizzical look on her face, wanting to check everything out, said her mother, Elaine Maddow, adding that her daughter was a pretty lively kid to boot. "She was born grown up, and she never talked baby talk," said Elaine, noting that Rachel had taught herself to read around the age of 3 by reading the newspaper each morning. "We kept saying to ourselves, 'Who is that kid, and where did she come from?' Which was a reasonable question, given her parents' heritage." Elaine Goss was born on June 16, 1941, in Newfoundland, Canada, into a conservative Catholic family where she was one of 8 brothers and sisters. Her father was a fisherman. "All I ever saw my mother do with 8 children was work hard, so I thought, well, maybe I would just not do that," Elaine remembered. "I'd be a career lady, or sail the seas, or do something really different." She moved to California in 1963 to become a portfolio analyst for the financial company Dean Witter. Robert, Rachel's father, had grown up in Arizona and